Welcome back everyone to my round 3 recap from the St. Louis Masters. As usual, I finished half hour ago and I played a young, strong opponent, Dimitar Mardov, international master. I think he has at least 1 or 2 Grandmaster norms. I think he's very, very close to becoming a Grandmaster. And coming into this game, I was 1 out of 2. Hopefully by now, both my recaps are posted, so do check those out. But yeah, this is my first game of the tournament with the white pieces, because I started with black 2 games back to back. So in this game, I opened with pawn to e4. He played pawn e5, and we went into a 4 knights Scotch opening. And this is a line that I haven't played recently, at least online. I did go through a phase of playing this a little bit a few years ago, and I figured it's a decent opening strategy against this opponent specifically, because I think he's a lot stronger tactically, and I wanted to steer the game into a more solid positional direction and maybe provoke him to do something dubious in the opening. So he plays the main line, takes bishop to b4. I take on c6, bc6. This is all very standard theory, castle, castle. And here the main line by far is pawn to d5, which I was expecting. But he played a move which I was not aware of. I'm not sure if this is like opening prep on his part or just over the board invention. He played the move queen e7. And in the moment, I was actually happy to see that he deviated from the main line. This is part of my opening strategy. I thought that maybe he would be discouraged from going into the main line because I was heavily prepared with computer preparation. So maybe queen e7 is an attempt to try and get a game, which is what I wanted. So black is delaying pawn d5, maybe staying flexible to play pawn d6. But the drawback of this move is it allows the pin with bishop to g5. And going forward, I was able to exert a lot of pressure on the king side. There's already ideas of f4 and e5. So he played the move queen e6 to unpin the knight. And then I played queen to f3, so increasing pressure. I do have some ideas of queen g3 to target the undefended pawn on c7, also maybe go for some kingside attack. And then he thought for a long time in this position and played a very strange looking move, bishop to d6, which I was not expecting at all. It's very unusual to put the bishop in front of the d-pawn, which blocks the other bishop. But he does have a tactical threat with this move, is queen e5 to attack the bishop and threaten checkmate. And there are some lines where the bishop wants to reroute to e5 and exert pressure on the queen side, also defend the knight. So the move does have some logic to it. And I decided on my next move relatively quickly in this position, spent about 3 minutes before playing queen e2, which maybe looks counterintuitive because I just moved my queen to f3, now I'm moving it back. But I'm reacting to black's last move, and with this, I'm freeing the f-pawn, so queen e5 is no longer an idea because f4 blocks attack on h2 and attacks the queen and defends the bishop. And a very similar line, if bishop takes h2, this does not work for black because, again, pawn f4. So I was happy with this choice. The queen is very useful on e2. And I just want to play f4 next and then expand further with maybe eventually e5 or f5. And I was feeling very good in this position. Looks like black's setup is quite awkward, and the pieces that are developed are potential targets for my expansion. So again, he took a lot of time, about 15 minutes to play the move pawn to h6. Which makes sense, attacks my bishop. I move back, and I'll admit I did not see his next move coming. He played another weird-looking move, but it was weirdly annoying, is bishop to f4. Basically a prophylactic move, preventing me from expanding. It also frees the d-pawn to potentially move to d6 or d5 next. And it puts me in a situation where I have to figure out what my plan is going forward. I really wanted to put my knight on e2, but my queen is covering that square. And I decided to play the move pawn g3, which looks awkward positionally because it takes away the retreating square from my bishop, but it also attacks his bishop, and I really wanted to expand with pawn f4. And there were some lines to calculate here. Like if he plays g5, I would have been happy to get this line takes, and then probably f5 and f4, and white has some strong attack. So I wasn't too concerned about g5 in this position, but it's something to be aware of when I commit the pawn to g3. So after g3, he plays bishop e5. I expand with f4, and I would have been happy if he takes, even if I get double pawns. My pawn at f4 prevents g5, and the pawns are ready to roll. So he kept his bishop on the board, bishop to d4 check. I play king h1, and then he plays pawn to d6. And now the ball is in my court. I was feeling very good about the position, but I had to choose the path forward. And in this position, I played a move which, in hindsight, I kind of regret. In the moment, I was perhaps overly optimistic, and I took a long time calculating very deeply here, and ultimately played the move pawn e5. And this is a potential pawn sacrifice, because black has 3 attackers. I only have 2 defenders. And when I played this move, I was calculating a really interesting line. If he takes a pawn, I would not recapture, but I would play pawn f5, attacking the queen. And if the queen moves, let's say queen d6, what was I going to do? I was going to take the knight. If he takes back, then there's full compensation after knight e4. So I was calculating queen takes f6, and then knight e4. And the initiative continues for white. The queen is hit. If queen e7, there's f6. The only other safe square for the queen is back to d8. Then I would have c3, bishop b6, rook d1, maybe f6 to throw in as well. And this position looked very, very promising from a distance when I was calculating pawn e5. Now, he did not go into this line because he played a different move here, bishop takes c3. And when I had calculated this line, I thought that I'm still going to have some pressure because black is giving away the bishop pair. We're going to have a very open position. And after b takes c3, I was thinking if he takes, I can either take with the queen. There's options here. There's takes with pawn. There's also bishop takes f6 to throw in. But he found a different move in the position, queen to d5. A slightly annoying check, forcing me to either block the check with my queen or move my king. I should note rook f3 blunders to bishop g4. So I chose queen f3, and I thought it's very likely we're going to trade queens and I'll have some pressure in the endgame with the 2 bishops. But he found some interesting initiative here, starting with bishop to g4, basically forcing me to trade queens on d5. And after knight takes d5, my c-pawn is hit, so I attack his knight. And then I was expecting knight b4, but he played the move knight to e3. And I think this is a very accurate play on his part, attacking the rook, keeping initiative. And after rook fe1, he drops his knight back to f5, essentially taking away half my bishop pair. I either have to allow knight takes h4, or what I did in the game, bishop takes f5. And the position simplifies pretty quickly. After he recaptures, I play bishop e7. I win a pawn on d6, but he wins the pawn on c2. And now we're in a relatively peaceful rook and opposite color bishop endgame. And the game only lasted a few more moves. After king g2, bishop d3, c5, bishop c4, a3, a5. We eventually trade rooks on the e-file. I offer another rook trade, and I also offer a draw, and he accepted in this position. So it was kind of an anticlimactic finish. I thought I was better in the early middle game, but I guess my whole sequence with e5 didn't quite work out. I think I underestimated his initiative, especially with this queen d5 check. And I'm very curious what Engine will say. I have not had a chance yet to check with Engine. I'm going to switch the view here and turn on Stockfish. I want to see the position before e5. Maybe there's other options. Ah, okay, so it's already equal here. Wow. So was I better earlier? Only slightly better. Okay, plus 0.8. Best move, bishop d2. Yeah, maybe if I saw bishop f4 coming, I would have been more inclined to look for other candidate moves. I played bishop h4 within 2 minutes, but yeah, I guess bishop d2, it prevents bishop f4, and f4 is very likely coming next. Okay, so that's a lesson to take away. I have to be a bit more aware of my opponent's resources. Going forward in the game, Engine likes rook ae1. Yeah, g3 was maybe a little bit strange, but okay, it wasn't worse for me. And oh, I was slightly worse here. So knight b4 was a better option. I thought this would have liquidated into a draw with the same like sequence of bishop e7. Oops, not rook d8, but rook e8, take, take. I was calculating this, so takes, and then takes rook e2. White's up a pawn, but black has some annoying clamp on the king side, especially light squares are in black's full control. So, okay, I guess I'm decently pleased with a draw, given that I could have been worse. I also could have been better, but yeah, sometimes that's how chess goes. So far, it's been a very fine start to the tournament. I'm 1.5 out of 3 against 2,500 level competition. Round 4 starts in, what, just under 3 hours? So I'm going to get some food, get some rest. Hope you guys enjoy the recap. As usual, links below to the live broadcast, and stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys soon.